there, this is Tiff and welcome to the Tiffany Micah podcast. What we do here is we solve your problems so that you're out there working on achieving your big dreams and big goals. So when you listen to these episodes, if you can do me a favor, take a screenshot of the episode that you're actually listening to, share it on social media and share it with your friends with hashtag potential with Tiff, so that I can give you a shout out and really thank you for listening, because I'd really appreciate it. Hey there, this is Tiff from Tiffany Micah podcast and welcome to today's lessons learned. So as you know, each week I share a strategy or a something that didn't work, or whatever lesson that I have learned, or something that someone's picked up that they've learned, or what I've noticed that someone else has learned throughout the week. I share the lessons learned, and what I want to share with you today is the Star Wars strategy. And I've been actually wanting to use this strategy for weeks in my niece's soccer team. And I haven't been able to do that, and I haven't actually done it because we have an official coach for the team, and I'm a co-coach, so I sort of back up when the coach is not there, and I take over the team and so on when that happens. So I've wanted to use this strategy for a few weeks, but I've actually backed off and not shared it at all because I know that he has certain things that he wants to do. So the things that have actually been going on with my niece's soccer teams, like there's just the two girls in there and the rest of the boys. And what's starting to happen is you can notice that their skills are improving, which is really exciting, and they're getting more comfortable on the field. But what was happening was that I felt like they needed some strategies in place on the field. They love being out there, but they're really not 100% sure of what they need to do. They know they've got to get the ball down the other end and get the ball into the goal to score a goal. But they need something to really focus on to help them to apply when they're actually playing. So I wanted to put some kind of playbook together for them. So the first one was creating this Star Wars strategy. So the really great thing about this team is that they all get along. They're all really good friends, all of them. It's really great. They're all very supportive of each other. The parents are all very supportive of each of the kids and what we do and so on. So that's really exciting. And they're really starting to understand the roles on the field, because we're getting close towards the end of the season. The kids have actually already qualified for the semis, which is exciting for them, but they've got one more round after this one that we just played to go. So we haven't made them aware of that because we don't want them to get, too casual. So we want them to constantly improve. So what I did on the weekend though was, because I ended up having the team to look after on my own, from a coaching point of view, I gave them this Star Wars strategy. Now, I didn't know how this was going to go, but I've been thinking about it for quite some time. And I wanted to, let's try it. Let's try this Star Wars strategy, something that they could relate to. And the team that they were playing against, they have played this team before, and they did struggle a bit. They were pretty even in standard last time that they played them. I think they either won 2-1 or they drew in the game. I'm not 100% sure, but it was pretty close. It was a pretty tight game. The opponent's coach, I actually talked about it in a previous episode about how aggressive he was and swearing, and how he's intimidating the referee and the kids, and it was really poor behaviour, and ended up getting banned for 2 matches. So there's a bit of history there, and the kids were quite upset as well by the behaviour of the coach and all of that kind of thing. So what I wanted to do though is I wanted to give the kids a strategy that they could focus on. So I called it the Star Wars strategy. So this is what I actually said to them. I said, look, this goal area, like where our goalie is, and all up the middle of our half of the field, we're going to call it the Death Star. And I drew this diagram for them and showed them where the Death Star area was. And I told them that they were all Jedi Knights, and what they had to do was that they had to move the ball through all the Jedi Knights up to the front, right? So I gave 2 of the backs a particular role, how they had to send the ball up to the wings on the in the field, again, keeping the ball away from the Death Star, what the midfield wings were then to do and how they were going to take the ball, and then how they needed to pass and create spaces for our forwards, our front forwards in our Jedis, and the four of them were then to fly in formation and work together as a team, with the midfield of the team backing up behind, so they were to fly in like Jedis as support. And then the defence line, our back Jedis were then to go on a particular place on the fields, right? So it worked amazing. It was just so amazing watching it all unfold, our Star Wars strategy. And what I was noticing too, even though I was heavily involved in the watching what the kids were doing and so on, I could hear the parents from behind. They were really excited and loved watching the strategy unfold. They weren't really aware of what I actually had said to the kids, but what they saw was a lot of teamwork and passing going on, and how they were moving the ball so much better within the team. But one of the dads had heard me talking about the Death Star area, and when I was explaining it to them, and I could hear him behind going, "Keep away from the Death Star, keep the ball away from the Death Star," which I thought was really cool. But anyway, so halftime came around and I asked the kids how they thought they were going. I said, what are we doing well? And they were like, "Oh, we're keeping the ball away from the Death Star." And one kid said, "I'm Luke Skywalker." And the other kid's like, "We're passing and creating spaces really well." And it was really, really great, right? So at the end of the game, what actually happened? Guess what the score was? It was 8-1. The kids won 8-1. It was really exciting. But that's great. They won, okay? On the scoreboard, looks fantastic. But it wasn't about the win that had made the difference, was it? It was the strategy of how they created the win. And that's the big lesson that I want you to get out of what I'm sharing with you today. It's the strategy of how they created the win. So let's look at that. So I've got 6 points here for you. So what was one of the strategies? It was that everyone on the field knew the job that they had to do, right? They had a role that they had to play. So they're all focused on a particular role that they had to play. Number 2, they worked as a team. So there was no individuals in there. They were all Jedis. There wasn't one Jedi. They were all Jedis. They worked as a team. Number 3, they supported each other. So they flew in formation, helping each other, creating spaces, passing the ball. Number 4, they gave each other opportunities to execute their role. So because they all knew their job, they knew what they had to do, then they worked with each person in the team, moving the ball around so that they could create the opportunities for those Jedis to get into gear and take the ball where they needed to take it, right? They were all Jedis. Number 5, they actually had fun putting it together. You could see it unfold. It was great. It was exciting. They were so excited when they came off at halftime, when they came off at full time. And number 6, the bonus, well, they scored more goals than the other team and they defended better than the other team. That was the bonus, wasn't it? But you can see how what happened was the strategy created the win. It's not about, okay, I've got to win. You've got to do specific things and strategies, create opportunities, all of that kind of thing. Have a game plan in place to create what you want to create. And hey, you know what? That worked. It worked like clockwork. It was so amazing. When we finished, one of the kids said to me, "Oh, Tiff, well, what if that strategy didn't work?" I said, "Well, we'd change the strategy," right? So we have to be, it's great that he's aware of that, but it worked. And the other coach didn't have a clue what was going on. It was great. So what kind of strategy are you going to add into your sport? Create some playbook strategies for yourself so that you go, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do for this one. And give it names, like I did with the kids. Okay, we're going to do Star Wars, and this is the Death Star, right? Got to keep the ball away from the Death Star. Absolutely fantastic result that they ended up with. And the result that I'm looking at is that they flew in formation, they put it all together, and then they got what they wanted. They won the game. So very exciting. So I hope you enjoyed this week's lessons learned. So remember, it's all about creating strategies and and executing the strategies. And if the strategy doesn't work, you change the strategy, but let's start creating that. If you have not yet downloaded the number one deadly mistake that athletes make sure that you visit tiffany-micah.com. It's on the front page there so that you can download a free copy of the number one deadly mistake athletes make. If you felt like you got value out of today's episode, I'd love it if you could share with me what you like best about what you heard. If you've got friends that would also benefit from these episodes, I'd really appreciate if you could share with your friends these episodes, because we want to build the Reach Potential with Tiff community as big as we possibly can. If you have just 30 seconds to spare, I'd also really appreciate a 5-star review wherever you hear these episodes. And I want you to dream big, believe in you, go after your dreams. Have an awesome day. Take care. Talk soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening today. If you have any questions about the frustrations that you're actually going through right now, come over and visit my site, tiffany-micah.com, and you will see on the home page I've set up Ask Tiff. Now, what Ask Tiff is this is where you can ask me a question and I will record an episode for you on how to solve that frustration or those frustrations you're actually going through, so that we can get the problem solved for you so that you're actually out there achieving your big dreams and goals. So if you want me to mention your name in the episode, happy to do so. If you don't, I can keep it anonymous. It's fine by me. But make sure you go over and go to the Ask Tiff on the homepage of my website. If you've just got 30 seconds to spare, I'd also appreciate if you could leave a 5-star review wherever you hear these episodes. And remember, take a screenshot, add the hashtag potential with Tiff so that I can give you a shout out for sharing these episodes on social media. I'd really appreciate it. And remember this, always, always, always dream big, believe in you, and go after your dreams.